Well, everybody, in true Missouri fashion, the weather has changed again this week. If you look back at the video I did last week doing a little bit of fishing, I'll link it up here. It was like 70 degrees, and it stayed that way for a few days, and then it switched over to snow and sleet over the last 2 days. So it's currently about 20 degrees, and a bunch of sleet's coming down. But today's video, we're going to do something that you can do inside, and still involves a little bit of a hunting angle on it. So we're gonna do a real simple way to display some of your Euro mounts if you do some deer hunting like I do. Why? You don't always get that buck taxidermied, but you still kind of want to show him off. So I'm gonna show you a way that I like to do that, that I've kind of done with the bucks that I've shot over the last 2 years. So I'll show you the 2 bucks I took. The first one will be the one I took in 2020, and then the second buck here that I'm showing you is going to be the buck that I took in 2021. Both of those were my rifle bucks. I got another buck during bow season this last year in 2021. I'll throw some pictures up on the screen of him now. He's actually off the taxidermist, so he's one that won't be used on a Euro mount. But gonna go ahead and get inside out of this sleet, and gonna show you something kind of cool, I think. Alright, out here in the shop today, and what I'm gonna be using is this. It's just an old fence post that I found. I don't have any clue how old it is, but it's one that we had out here on our farm, and we had discarded. It had started to crack and wear, so it was just laying around, basically waiting on being burnt. So I basically took that, and then I took advantage of the cracks up here along the top of it, and I broke it off, and then I just planed it down, or got it as straight as I could on one side, because that's going to be our side that goes along your wall wherever you're going to mount this. So I am wanting to do one more step on the back here, and that is I'm wanting to put a few little recesses in the wood here, some of this area where it's a little more solid, but not completely all the way up and down it. It is cracked, so I don't want it to get more brittle and just break. So I'm gonna try and remove a little bit of material just to save weight. So once I get the heads on there, the skulls on there, the weight of those and the piece of wood itself aren't just really hanging on your wall real heavy there. So gonna go ahead. Probably going to spare you the details of watching me hog out some of this material. I'll probably just use a router. I got the drill there. I could just sit there and drill out a few holes to lose the weight, since nobody will ever see this side. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and get some of that removed, and I'll bring you back whenever I got that done. Okay, she's not very pretty by any means, and that's just because I don't have a joiner table, so I can't make this back perfectly smooth, but if you have access to that, well, I would totally use it. So I've taken my router and I've just hogged out a bunch of material. I might come back in and try and work on this some more, but for the sake of continuing on with the video, I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to complete it. But as you can see, I've pushed down here with the Forstner bit on the drill, kind of hogged out a little bit, and then just chased through it with the router, just kind of clearing up some of that material and getting it out of there. So if we flip it over here, what I've done is I've went ahead and I've pre-drilled some holes, because our next step is we need some 2-inch brackets. So if you get these 90-degree 2-inch brackets, you're gonna want to drill out a hole where you want to essentially position your deer head. I want this one to be kind of direct on, but I don't want the lowered one to be just directly on. That way, if you're walking by it I mean, you're not just seeing side, front, side whenever you go by it. You're kind of seeing the deer at different angles. It makes it a little more interesting, a little more appealing to the eye, and I just think it gives it an all-around better look. So what you're going to want to do with these is they're at the 90 degree. I've started to on this one, and I've kind of done it here. You're going to want to bend one side up, and I actually need to get that kink right there. Out of that, I need it a little bit steeper and straight across, or at least this portion straight and looking more at an angle kind of like that. That's what you'd want to see. So let me get those bent, and then I'll get them attached here and bring you back and show you kind of what that looks like once I get it on there. Alright, as you can see, got those on there. One thing you might want to do, or just keep in mind, is that you should probably screw those in before you bend those tabs, just to make it a lot easier on yourself. But you do want them at a pretty steep angle there. I mean, you want it pretty upright in both cases. Also, if you get ahead of yourself and you get these tabs on before you hollow out the backside, if you're going to do that to keep the weight down, definitely make sure that you have those screws out of there, take them back off, something like that, because we don't want you to run your drill bit or your router bit, what have you, into that piece of screw there. But I got a couple of my bucks here, and I'll just show you, if I can, one-handed, how to put those on there. Basically, you're just going to want to stick that tab into the actual skull up where the brain would be and attach it that way. And if you don't like the angle that your deer's head is sticking out, why, of course, you can bend that tab and move it out. I really don't like that deer's head sticking straight out like that, so I'll probably adjust it. But this is a little hard doing one-handed, so let me get this done, and I'll show you the end result. So in the end, that's kind of what she'll look like. Kind of have one buck straight forward, one off to the side there. And if you're like me and got a couple of hanger hides, why, you could hang them up there also, just to kind of bring it all together. I'm out here in the barn, so background isn't the most beautiful thing to be seen, but it definitely looked good inside the house, up on your wall there. So got that coyote back. That was the small female that I had tanned from last year. I just got her back from taxidermist who did my tanning for me, and I pretty much chose her because, well, I didn't want the full-size coon, and I chose this little tiny coon I did myself. I didn't want to make the bigger coon look too big compared to that coyote. But overall, I think it makes for a really simple, really easy way to display some of your deer. Kind of give them a little bit of credit that even if they're not the great big deer that you were after, I give them a little bit of respect, make them look cool, give it a little bit more class than just a single head on the wall. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that video. I know it's pretty simple. It's pretty self-explanatory, I kind of feel like. But it's something you might not have thought about. Maybe something you could do for a kid. If you're not wanting to break the bank. I know everything's getting a little more expensive these days. But if you give me a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me if this helped you. If you have a buddy who maybe has first deer, doesn't want to spend a bunch of money, or just kind of looking for a good way to, present his deer whenever somebody comes over, go ahead and share this over to him. So, in the meantime, hope you have a good one. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Oh, and one last thing I wanted to mention as a little bit of tidbit. if you exclude the cost of the tanning for my coyote hide there, I'm in this whole process for $3. And that was just because I had the leftover 1.25" screws laying around. I used a reclaim post, and then I had a friend do the boiling of the skulls for me. And I did the coon hide myself, just with the orange bottle. So if you count the orange bottle, you might be in this for $20. So just something to consider. See you in the next one.